Hi, everybody, and welcome. Thank you for joining us here at our Zentangle Inspired Art for Beginners Learn with Me series. We are on number 55. Um, right now, I am itching to learn more about the Zentangle dingbats, Dingbatz, dingbats, and making strips to be used on page edges, or you can draw them right on an edge of a page or edge of an envelope. But I am just enjoying this immensely, just making just the strips. And I'm making them on 8.5 by 12 inch. No, 8.5 by 1 inch cardstock. And I have that size because I a lot of times cut that much off of a piece of cardstock when I am doing other things. And so then I have these waist sizes, the size of, not the size of my waist, of course, but and so that's why I have chosen to use these to make my strips. And so, but what I've been doing this morning then is to do this one here is called the Weifel Power. Weifel Power. And it's when I was looking in the Dingbats book, the Zentangle Dingbats book, is where, and just love this book, but I saw that in here and I said, oh, I have to make that. Although it didn't really, was it this book? Now that I'm thinking it was this. Yes, here. It's called, oh no, here it's called Oybay. Now somebody else, okay, never mind. Now I've got to change that because I am not right on this one because it's Oybay. This one's a little bit different than the one I did. Okay, so I'm going to write that down here. Oybay. 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 Okay. See, I do get confused because I am watching many different tanglers, and the one I watched called it Weifel Power. Okay, so that's confusing. Okay, so anyhow, that's what we're going to do today. The Dingbats book, which is written by Brian Grimmins, and he's a certified Zentangle teacher, is calling it Oybay. Another person, and I can't remember who it was that I watched, called it Weifel Power. So they look the same to me. All right, but we're going to go ahead with it. We're going to go ahead on with it now as we are speaking. And I've got my strip of paper here. And what I do to help myself on this one is I do draw a little pencil line. So I just, a little, maybe a quarter of an inch from the top, or maybe a little bit less. I do a little pencil line. And then again, the same thing from the bottom. And then that way I stay in, I kind of end up with my image a little bit more symmetric, or whatever you would call that word. Okay, so I have a line at the top and then at the bottom, and so that's where I'm going to, I don't think you can see that on the actual, I'm going to actually use my, on the actual strip. I mean, on the actual, yeah, I don't think you can see it. Now, what we're going to start with, let me put this up here. See, I've got, I did a couple of these different ones. Yeah. And so Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to make these humps. See how they are humps? And I think I'll use this. So it's just like a little hump there with a little curly on the ends, okay? And then I'll go with another hump. And then another hump, another hump. And I'm going to go right across the whole strip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like that's what I kind of fit in on each one. It's about 6, but you might make them smaller or bigger, and that's okay. And so then I'm going to start echoing this line, this hump. I'm going to start echoing it. And so to echo it, I'm going to go from the starting at the left-hand side. I'm going to echo the line and go up to the top and keep your line kind of curved the same way you did the first hump. And so we're going to and then we're going to put a little circle. Now, as I just looked at that quick image on Mr. Crimmins' book, The Zentangle Dingbats, I saw how his little circle, I just noticed that it went a little bit below the line, and I kind of liked that. This one here, both of these ones, I kept it above the line. Okay, so a little bit below the line. And I'm going to do each one of those now. I'm going to do each one of those. Now, this is, okay. Have you noticed I can't really talk and do things at the same time? There we go. Ending with a little orb at the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So see, I got 7 auras in here and only 6 in this one. So it doesn't really matter. It's however you fit them in, because you might do them closer together or further apart, and it doesn't matter because this is your art here. And because it's Zentangle inspired art, you have a little bit more leeway. If you were doing a Zentangle, official, a Zentangle, you would pretty much have to stay on track and do it like the illustrator, like the inventor of the illustration did it. But this is Zentangle inspired art, and so you pretty much, that gives you the license to um, do your own thing. You still want to keep it very much near the authors or the creators or the artists' plan, but you can add your own swoops or lines or something to make it even all that much more your own. And this, and then when also I have found myself, because this is a learn with me, because I am learning as I go. Um, so I don't call myself teaching, I just call myself going and learning, and I want you to learn with me. And so, and I do not do everything perfect. I do the best I can, but not perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to blacken in or puddle around that circle on each one. Makes that circle really pop. So that's what I'm doing there, is I'm going to just puddle around. And because I'm using a, I'm using a Sharpie today, and I have done a lot of mine using a Sharpie rather than the fine line pens. If I'm going really small, I would then use the real micron fine lining pens. But I find that even my Sharpies work just fine. So if that's what you have, you use a Sharpie. I have done them even in just a black ink pen, and they work just fine. So it's what you have. You don't have to have the fancier, more costly um, uh, fine line pens. You don't have to have them, but most tanglers do use those. I have seen that in my on my road through the internet. Don't these look like little snails? Now I'm just putting some weight at the bottom. I I do see that having weight in some parts of your image really gives it more dimension. And the way I'm doing this weight here is I'm just copying over that bottom line with a little bit of a scallop up to each echo line. And that kind of just gives it just that little bit more dimension once you get that on there. And then on the top, I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to just kind of almost go like a little scallop with my pen, because now I'm not sure what size. Do they tell you? It just says fine point, ultra fine point. It doesn't tell you exactly the millimeters or whatever. But when I'm doing this kind of thing, I when I'm doing this is where I'm just weighting the top of this right now, and I did it on on both of these. I used a micron pen, and it for me it was like a lot more work to do it, to get the weight at the top. And doing it this way is with this pen, because it's just of a heavy um more of a thicker line. It just is much easier to do what I want, the effect I want to have, because it is the heavier pen. And so I'm just going around, and I'm kind of doing like a little, just almost like a, what did I just call that? Just a little like loop de loop. It's like I'm just going around it, but it's like a little ruffled edge. um, and it just puts that weight up there. It just really makes a difference. And now, when I talk about ZIA, Zentangle Inspired Art, I feel like I've got more, because I am not a certified Zentangle teacher, and I never will be, because I cannot afford it. It is very expensive. You have to go to Boston, and from Florida to Boston would be like a long trip, or it'd take me a long time to hitchhike all that way. And I just can't afford it, although I would love it. I think it would be absolutely, there's no way I could go anyway, but being once I learned that there was ZIA, Zentangle Inspired Art, and much more lenient, I guess not lenient is one word, but it's still your Zentangles, but it's still your Zentangles, but it's where you can take them and be a little bit more freedom in changing. See, now here I'm just getting them all hooked together, and that's where my pencil line helps, because see, I've got my line pretty much straight there. Now I've got that pencil line across the top too, and so I'm going to now darken up that pencil line, and I'm just going to follow that pencil line all the way across. And and there we go. So now, and that's basically it right there. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just do a little bit of shading. I want to have a little bit of shading on the, maybe I should have done that after I, okay, now let me see. I want to shade up here at the top and at the bottom of the snail. I call him a snail because for some reason I think he looks like a snail. And I was going to shade the edges there, but I'm going to do that after I draw the lines. So I'm just going to put a little bit of graphite. And that's another thing I learned is, they say graphite. This is graphite in the pen, pencil, which we usually call a lead. Well, it used to be made that they made the lead out of lead. Well, they don't make it out of lead anymore. Now they make out of graphite. So when I hear, that's another thing that I learned, that this is a graphite pencil. And it's just a regular pencil that number 2 pencil that you would get for school. And and so when they say to lay down some graphite, that's what they're talking about, is you're shading with a pencil, which I guess a lot of us still call a lead pencil, but apparently they don't use lead in the pencils anymore. And so that was a new wrinkle in my brain to learn that. Now here. And I use my stump to get that graphite blended down into the image. And so at the top, I'm rubbing downward with my blender stump. At the top, I go downward, and at the bottom, I upward. And then that gets that pencil, the graphite out of the pencil, and it blends it into. So see how you can see, look at that guy's real skinny. He must be on diet. And so now there I go with that. Now I'm happy with that so far. And I'm going to now take my pen, and I'm going to do these lines. You see how the lines I did in the middle? In between each one, I just did horizontal lines. And so I start at the top usually, and I'll just aura each one of those lines. Now my pen doesn't want to go. Did I just use up all the ink? Oh, there we go. And I'm just going to aura each one of these lines. And as you can see, I'm doing this whole thing with a Sharpie and not with a micron pen. And I think it is looking just fine. Okay, and I think it's looking just fine. And I've got a lot of Sharpies, all different colors. And so I'm going to be using them a lot more too. But not against my microns, because I love them, and I will, especially the more detailed ones, I will always use my microns, because the line, you can get the line so a little delicate. Oh, you know what I should, I didn't mention this, I just made one. To get a sparkle in your line, okay, so you can go all the way across without lifting your pencil. You can then go across and skip just a small little spot here and there. You gotta hold my paper down. And just miss a little spot here and there, And if you miss that little spot, just lift your pen up. See, if you can see it, it leaves like a little sparkle in there. Just a little bit of a sparkle where you, and any time that you're doing something like this, it's kind of neat to just leave, pick it up, and then start again. Only just almost exactly touching, but not. Just don't let it touch, and you get that little sparkle in there. And I kind of like that too. That's a really nice addition. And just like here, I put one on that part of the string, and then this part, and so you kind of stagger the little sparkles around if you want to do the sparkles, and then maybe a couple lines that are just completely filled with no sparkle, and then that really makes the sparkles just, they just look like stars at night. They're really pretty, real pretty. And this is one tangle that is very, very fun. It's very calming. You know, most all of them are very calming. Some of them take, for me anyway, a lot of thought, and there's a process in each one. And so they take me a little bit more thought, but you know, and then I'll do one like that, and then the next one I might do a real simple one that I know already, and one that I'm familiar with. And whoopsie. And so, but look at how pretty this looks. It just looks so pretty and so rich. And if you do this at the bottom of an envelope before you mail off your electric bill or whatever, it'll make those electric people real happy that they got art on there, because I'm sure they get bored up there. And so we need to entertain everybody we can with our art. And this is, and some may even keep it. Some may say, I'm going to cut that out and keep it. And so, okay, now, and that's a really, 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 really good idea. Now I'm going to take one of my Artesia pens. Let's see, I made this one with red and made that one with green. So I think I'm going to make a blue one. Make this one with blue. I just love these Artesia pens. Um, they're a brush pen, and they come, and I showed these yesterday or the day before, and I'm just going to color in the circle. I color in that circle or that orb, and let me see, I got to get me a pair of glasses. These are not my favorites, but they help. They help some. And so I'm just coloring in those orbs now. And I'm just doing them all blue. Now what I want to do is, you know what I think I'm going to do? Now I'm going to use, oh, you know what I still want to do is I still want to do that little bit of shading on each side of the hump. It makes that little hump, that little igloo looking thing, a little igloo, it makes it look, I say igloo. Whenever I was in high school, and it was still in Minnesota, it was junior high school at the time, but the junior high was right next to the high school, and we all worked together. But I lived in a town called Esko, Esko, and our school, we were the Esko Eskimos. Our sports teams were the Esko Eskimos. And every year in front of the high school, we built an igloo. So all winter there was that igloo in front of the high school. Like in here in Spring Hill, we live the school that my kids went to, high school, they're the Eagles. And so there's an eagle in front of the high school. Well, our school up there had a an igloo because we were the Eskimos. Eskimos. Of course, we didn't spell it right, but and and oh here, and these kind of remind me of that igloo. I wonder if they still do that. I have to go to my old alma mater online and see if ask a question to see if they still do that. I'm sure they wouldn't have quit. I don't know, the whole town may have changed after I left. I was only 14 when I left. Came to Florida. Okay, so there I did that. Now I want to do, see how I put in the bottom of the little Eskimo, no, the thingy. I'm going to get a little bit of a colored pencil of a light green. No, I've got blue going on there, Elizabeth. You've got blue. Think blue, little girl. No, I'm not little. Okay, so I'm just going to take a light blue in my colored pencil. And I want to do just a little bit of light blue down here, just a little bit upward there. Very light touch on it. I'm going just a very light touch of this blue. And so I'm just getting a very, it's just barely sticking to the paper. When you do something like this with a colored pencil, and these are Prismacolors, which I do like, they're very, very soft. And I'm just doing a very, very light. Now I want to have my white Prisma pencil. Is this the white one? No, that's gray. Is this white? No, that's French gray. What did I do with my white one? Okay, Elizabeth, well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to use this very light. No, that one's too dark. We're going to go with this gray because my white one, wait a minute, is this it? Yeah, there's the white one. Okay, now we're cooking. Put that back in there. Because now I'm going to go over it with the white, but go farther up. And so I am now blending that little bit of blue. The white is working as a blending tool. I'm pressing just a little bit harder, not a lot harder, because you never want to press hard with, especially the Prismacolor pencils, because the lead, which is not lead, but the color inside, the whatever we want to call that, it will break. That wax will break. It's very soft. And so there we go. That's it right there. That's your strip. And then you can do different things with it. You can add, like here I put little orbs all the way across the top, and I alternated with black ones and red ones. This one I didn't do anything. This one so far nothing. And so, but there is other things you could add to it. You can see though on this one how much, because I used the Sharpie on this bottom one, and you can see how much bolder the whole thing is by using the Sharpie. And this one here I used the Micron pens, and I think I even used the 005, which is the finest one, on these lines in between. I might have did the 005, although usually I do a 2 or a 3. And yeah, but this here, the biggest one I have is 8. That one is the widest. And is the widest nib, but I think the Sharpie's even wider than that. So, try everything that you have. Try everything, and you'll find something that you're happy with. And you might use a fine pen for something, and then a broader tip for something else. When I did this one with the flux, I used a fine tip on the flux, as I did with this one too. This one I think I did too. Isn't that pretty? I just love that. That was the Is It? That one we did in that, but I'm loving these. And so, and I don't know, I might put some of these in my journal kits that I sell. And you know what I do? You know what I got the other day? Oh, yesterday. Look at this stamp. Do you see that stamp? I bought that special. I bought it special because I said, I'm special. I can deserve to order me a tailor-made stamp, and it says Scrappin' Lizzie on there. And then all I have to do is ink it and put that on there, and I got my John Hancock right on there. Look at that. I love this thing. I'm going to have myself stamped everything. I'm going to stamp everything. I don't know what else. See, I already stamped on some of these. Stamped it. Because yesterday when I first got it, I had to make sure it worked. So I was stamping everything. And I stamped that one. Got my name on there. Now they're all stamped. They've all got my name on them. I love it. I think that is the awesomest ever that I got Scrappin' Lizzie. That's and look at they even engraved that in their top there. It's engraved in there. It's not just stamped on there. It's engraved in the block of wood. I think it's amazing. But anyhow, that's my new toy. That's my new toy right there. I like it. I like it a bunch. But anyhow, look at all them strips that I have. And so I'm going to be doing a lot working with my strips. And like I say, I might put some of them in my cigar boxes to give people a little piece of my art. I love making the flux too. I think the flux, I love them all. This one is so pretty. The Is It? I love the Is It? That is so pretty. And so I want to make more because I want to make them in different colors. Now, see, when I'm doing just the Zentangles, it's not as, I had one girl ask me if I like doing one of each and then just go to another. But when I do something like this, I like to make more than one because I'll make one, then I'll make another one and color it in a different color. So pretty. Boy, I wish I could make a bracelet out of that. I'd wear it as a bracelet. Well, anyway, I think they're just beautiful, and they are just beautiful. So now I'm going to give you some heart thoughts this morning, this afternoon, and we're gonna keep putting. I don't know why I keep putting all these beautiful things in here. Let me see. I express my true being. That's what I'll read. Okay, now this is a new day. Begin anew and claim and create all that is good. I express my true feelings. I affirm the following. Put my glasses on. I see myself having a consciousness of oneness with the presence and power of God. I see myself ever aware of the power of God within me as the source of everything I desire. I see myself confidently calling upon the presence to support my every need. I love all expressions of God unconditionally. Knowing the truth of all that is, I walk through life with the happy companionship of my God self and joyfully express the goodness that I am. My wisdom and understanding of spirit increases, and I express more fully each day the inner beauty and strength of my true being. Divine order is ever present in my experiences, and there is plenty of time for all that I choose to do. I express wisdom, understanding, and love in all of my dealings with others, and my words are divinely guided. I see myself expressing the creative energy of spirit in my work, writing, and speaking words of truth easily and with the depth of understanding and wisdom. Fun, uplifting ideas flow through my consciousness for a joyful expression, and I follow through on the ideas received, bringing them into full manifestation. That is, I express my true being. Be yourself. Be yourself. As long as you be yourself and don't try to be something somebody else wants you to be, you are going to be happy with yourself. Okay, I ask God to watch over you every step you take, every move you make, and keep tangling, whatever you want to call it. Zentangles, ZIAs, dingbats, all of the tangles are beautiful. Keep going with them. They're beautiful, and they just make you feel beautiful. God bless you all, and I will see you on the next video, and with your smiling faces. May God watch over you every step you take, every move you make, and I will see you very soon. God bless.